Yo, what is going on, y'all? It is your boy Zay Plays back with another video, and today we are going to be doing a early game build breakdown of our current Huntress build in Path of Exiles 2. I decided to go for more of a bleed route with this. I'm still working on it, so it's a work in progress. But if you have been around the channel, you guys know that I like to do non-standard, non-meta builds for my first playthrough of the new league. I haven't got to play too much is because Marvel Rivals dropped, so I'm trying to get back into it. But yes, I'm doing a Bleed Huntress, and I even did not go with the Amazon. I went with the Ritualist, and me going with the Ritualist was what really started this whole wanting to go completely into Bleed, and I will show you guys why. So originally my thought process for this build was I was gonna make it like a super big bonus only build, which I still plan to do, but I had to get my second ascendancy. So I was like, okay, having one extra ring slot with all one of these debuffs is currently not worth it. So then I started looking around the skill tree and all the other things that the ritualist had to offer, and I saw a blood boil. So I was like, oh, what's that? And man, this took off the whole bleed experience for me. I was like, oh my goodness, this sounds amazing. So enemies in your presence accumulate blood boils periodically. When they die, the blood boils pop, applying corrupted blood. And the corrupted blood dealing 2% of the slain enemy's max life as physical damage per second. You don't realize how many blood boils can stack on top of these enemies. So I'm going to walk over to an enemy really quick because I am in the area. So we're going to find an enemy and you can just look at it and see the blood boils just slowly applying to it. For some reason, this guy won't wake up. But if I were to pop that and this guy is in range, it's going to deal 2% of his max life to this. But look how many blood boils are on top of it. So that was the first reason of me wanting to go into the bleed build, because I was like, oh, there's no point for the ring slot right now, so let's go into bleed. Okay, so we currently have four main blood skills slash bleed skills that we're using, which is rake, which is our main thing that we're using. We are raking the enemies from a super far distance to really maximize the damage, because as it says, it does up to 100% more damage based on the distance traveled. So we're trying to maximize that distance to maximize the bleed and the damage that we're inflicting on them. 100% more magnitude of bleed is inflicted. So we're just doing a lot of bleed. Blood hunt is when we see that they're there's like a bar, and I'll show it later on. There's like a bar that you can see tick down when you're bleeding an enemy. Blood hunt would just take all of that blood loss, and now that's the new health bar. So basically, if you're in a boss fight, if you're in fighting a rare enemy, you can see the bar ticking down. If you blood hunt to that enemy, they're just gonna lose all that HP that you've inflicted from blood. Bloodhound mark is something I'm still trying to figure out and mess with. It says mark targets release a blood explosion when heavy stun. Mark targets release a blood explosion on death if they had at least 5% of heavy stun buildup from blood loss. I'll also show that off, try to do a boss fight for you guys. And then mark target receives heavy stun buildup equal to 30% of blood loss. It's something I'm trying to figure out. I'm just applying it on there, and obviously, when you have the target bleeding, the mark doesn't lose its duration. So you want to try to keep the target bleeding as well. Herald of Blood. When aren't heralds good, guys? Heralds are always good. Combining this with the blood boil, the break, and everything, if you are in a big group of enemies, Herald of Blood is just going to destroy all their health bars. We have 48% chance to aggravate bleed on hit with it. It's just really, really good, and I'll show that off to you. The other thing that we're using to inflict bleed, which was something I was using from the original path that I wanted to take this build, is Lightning Spear. I just threw on Lacerate onto it, 50% chance to inflict bleeding. Also, going into that, reason I still have this on is because I need an ability that can inflict incision. Rake sometimes afflicts incision, which it shouldn't, but I'm not complaining. Incision, going into more of the passive skill tree, we're going to come over here. We need incision for this reason right here. 15%, excuse me, magnitude of bleeding you inflict against enemies affected by incision. So it's just making our bleeding more powerful against those enemies that we've hit from incision as well. And to combine all those blood abilities that I have, we're currently using the Blood Barrier Iron Buckler, which if you look at the bottom, it says inflict corrupted blood for 5 seconds on block, dealing 50% of your max life as physical damage per second. So we want to build into more life, but this is really good at just taking down the enemies and honestly the boss's health bars more than anything, because bosses is the main thing that this build struggles with, and this has been a really saving grace. It also gives us some chaos resistance, which we could always use. but this is one of the things that is also helping. But funny enough, corrupted blood is not the same as bleed. So they are two different things, and that was something I gotta figure out and get more used to because I thought they were one and the same. Which is funny because blood boils was originally coming from, that's why this whole build started with the bleeds because I had blood boils on. But technically, blood boils is afflicting corrupted blood, not bleeding, which is just a yeah, it's just a lot. I thought they were one and the same, but they're not. So if you are gonna plan to make this build, just know that corrupted blood and bleeding are not the same thing. Show off the how it works. So we hit him a rake, and you can see that the blood loss bar, and then you can see the Herald Blood start activating as well. One rake pretty much against common enemies takes them out. And then again, if you pair that with combine that with the parry, it also just kills their health. So this is really good for like map clearing. I want to say map clearing, area clearing, because I'm not in maps yet. And it's also good against just regular enemies. And I'll show you guys a boss in a second because I'm working my way towards one right now. But that is when it comes to struggle, in which I'm going to need your guys' help to let me know anything down below in the comments that I can use to make the build a little bit better against bosses. Because right now, if there's a way to inflict more bleed or something, I don't know it, or I'm just not high enough level yet. And that is Blood Hunt also taking the health bar. If you see the health bar stop, the blood loss, he just takes all of it. Next time I'll see you guys in a boss fight. Getting into boss fights, this is basically how it works against boss fights. Like I said, it's not the best against boss fights as of right now. Yeah, so you can see the blood, the bleed damage. We want to put the mark on so you can see the blood, the stun bar build up as well. I wonder if that parries. That, I know that doesn't parry. But yeah, you can see the tick up when we actually use when we use our shield and parry an attack. The damage increases pretty rapidly, and you can see the blood loss as well from the that's not a move that I need to do it against. And then you can see when I blood hunt, I always call it blood lance for some reason. It takes all that health bar. So basically, this is the playstyle as of right now against. I want that parries. No, it doesn't. The current playstyle that I have to do against bosses, like I said, this is not a meta build by any means. It is a build that I'm going to try to figure out how to get it to be comparable to the meta. But for right now, I mean, it doesn't do bad damage. Especially I'm not like the highest level and anything like that. This is only like level 30. What level am I actually? This is only level 36 currently. So yeah. Typically speaking, I will want to rake from a further distance, like from there, so the bleed is higher damage. But I also need to be kind of close in. I also need to be kind of closer in for the parry attacks. Like that's one right there. So yeah. Right after this, we're going to get into the skill tree. So I'll see you guys at the skill tree. And maybe if you drop something nice. Alright guys, for the final part of the video, the passive skill tree. I think we know where we're going in the skill tree now, but this is obviously can change the more I play around, tinker, and try to make the build stronger. If you guys didn't know, if you don't catch me in streams, especially I tend to do this at the end of streams, I always go into the passive skill tree and then I start looking and then I start coming up with new ideas and I'm like, oh, I can build here, I can build here, I can change this, I can flip this around, I can do this, that. So I'm trying to keep that composed for this, but you guys might have heard it a little bit in the video, me being a little bit everywhere because I just really like this game. If you guys did not know, this is my first ARPG. I've been saying that for a while on my channel and this is the first time I've had a league reset, so I'm really excited, new things that I can learn about this game as well. So getting into the passive skill tree, we are really building parry damage and bleed damage. So that's why I have this little branch over here, because we wanted more parry damage, and then attack speed and movement speed if we successfully parried recently. Going over to this part, we really only went over here. Originally, this was part of how originally I was going to make the build because I had this whole thing done, but I didn't like that. So getting more parry damage, stun threshold, and really building us into our first part of our bleed build, which was 20% chance for attack hits to apply incision, which allows us to get 15% increased magnitude of bleeding you inflict against enemies you affected by incision. So just amplifying what our bleeding is currently doing. Going down here, I think I talked about this already, but parry damage, attack speed, and movement speed. Going down here, we wanted parry debuff duration, and parry debuff magnitude. Magnitude duration, I'm kind of still trying to figure out the difference, but I kind of got it down now, which is like the same thing as magnitude. It just causes more parry buildup, which, if I'm correct in saying that, yeah, higher magnitude, yeah. So yeah, that's what this part of the skill tree. Yeah, I'm not finishing any more of this out. Also, the next part we're building to is currently right here. 20% chance for attack hits to imply decision. We're gonna build to this side of the tree first, which it gives us the Excuse me. Actually, we're building to this side of the tree first because we want incision. We want this one. 10% chance for attack hits to imply 10 incision. 10 incision is just great. They're just going to be taking a lot more damage. And then enemies you apply incision to take 2% increased physical damage per incision. Combining that with our bleed should make this build really strong. But for right now, those are the limits of what I know I'm going to take the build to. Because like over here, we have some critical chance magnitude of bleeding and stuff like that. But I think that's currently the path that I want to take this build on to. There's also some other crazy bleeding ones over here, but that's just going to take me into like end game to get to. We also need to upgrade our strength as well. If you guys did not know, we need to upgrade our strength. But right now we have a super high dex. I don't know how we have negative cold resistance, but guys, this is what happens when I start talking about the passive skill tree. So I'm just going to end it right there, guys. I know this video might have seemed like it was a little bit of everywhere, but I hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys have any ideas for this build to make it a little bit stronger, please leave it down below in the comments. And if you guys did like this content, please drop a sub. It just lets me know that I'm doing some things right. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love y'all. Bye.